Okay, full disclosure, this is going to be a weird story, and the way that I present it might be a bit odd too, but let me explain, alright? It'll make sense, I promise. Okay, so I want to talk about Supercell. This is the developer behind games like Clash of Clans. However, as you'll come to see in this video, I will not be using any footage at all that shows Clash of Clans or any other game that Supercell owns. The reason why is because Supercell is copyright striking and trying to remove entire channels off of YouTube that speak out against their predatory practices, and insane anti-content creator behavior is how they're fighting back instead. So this is why you will see no footage of their games in this video despite me talking about them, but it'll just be cool game footage, I guess, but I apologize. But the reason why is because I want this video to exist in the future. That's why I gotta do what I do, or Supercell will pretty much 100% copyright strike my video, saying that I'm using their games footage or something in some weird malicious way. I know it's dumb, but that's the only way I can do this, okay? So I apologize. And later on in this video too, I want to also talk about how YouTube in general is just getting cooked by the same problems that are plaguing the story too. But okay, now let's talk about why a particular company is being seen as absolute supervillains lately, and how it's all leading to a lawsuit that, in my opinion, is deserved because this is insane. This comes from Dexerto, but is seen here, a YouTuber with a pretty big channel has been completely erased from YouTube thanks to Supercell. The YouTuber in question is this guy here, Eric OneHive. So Eric had a channel on YouTube with over 450,000 subscribers where all of his videos were about Supercell's games. Here's a list of Supercell's games, which they can't copyright strike me for posting this. It's public images of their games titles. So if anybody over there that's watching this, if you try to copyright me for even showing this, you better not even try it because that's ridiculous. But as you can see, they worked on Clash of Clans, Brawl Stars, Clash Royale, and other games. You ask me, the majority of their games, they're not really things I would ever really touch myself or play. I'm just not into those sorts of games. But obviously, Eric OneHive had a whole channel where he covered those games because he enjoyed them. That was his passion. Eric even posted the proof a few days ago, as you can see here, that about 11 videos that he made about Supercell's games have been copyrighted and hidden from the algorithm besides one video. Every video is about Supercell's games, but the thing about Eric is that he wasn't a yes man for Supercell. Yes, he made content on Clash of Clans and more stuff like that, but he was openly criticizing the very development studio that he dedicated his channel to, specifically in those 11 videos that got copyright strike, by the way. This, according to Eric, became the crux of the reason why his channel was absolutely atom bombed from orbit by Supercell, because in case you don't know, let me explain. Every channel has a 3-strike rule. If you get 3 copyright strikes, which are meant to be issued if you say rip an entire video off of someone else's channel, post it as your own, edits and all, and say this is actually mine when it really isn't, yes, that would be a strike. Same thing would happen if you posted not safe for work things, if you will, on the site. But anyway, once you hit 3 of these in a row, and each strike also has a buffer period of a certain amount of days, but if you hit 3 in total without losing any, your channel is then officially deleted. Again, if Eric was posting not safe for work things or telling people to, harm the developers in person, for example, this would then be a justified reason to remove his channel. However, according to Eric, which I am going to take his words at face value here, of course, in this video, he is apparently claiming that all he was doing was making content on Clash of Clans and other Supercell games, and within his, positive content, he would still also openly criticize things like their monetization policies or their gameplay elements that he may not have liked himself that they were implementing in these games. So the reason why what Supercell did here is so dangerous is when you are copyright striked like this, you also lose the ability to do other things with your channel. For example, you can lose the ability to live stream if you get copyright struck. This usually lifts after about a week if nothing else happens. But with how Eric's situation has gone already, Supercell has literally just ruined his livelihood because they didn't like what he was saying in the first place. As you can see here, Eric says he has issued counterclaims to the copyright strikes launched at his channel by Supercell themselves. But he also confirms even if he can get them reverted, he would still never make content about their games ever again, and the reason is simple. Because Supercell is effectively twisting the use of copyrights to censor and silence Eric into compliance. And this is why this video will have zero footage of any of their games, and again, if what Eric is saying is true, and I am basing this on what Eric has said, okay? It's not really my opinion per se, it's what's happening to Eric. If what he is saying is true, this is wrong, okay? Because what I'm doing right now technically is what Supercell has also tried to get Eric gone for as well. The only difference is they can't copyright my video, or I guess they can try to, but I won't have a single second of footage of any of their games in my video for that sole reason. Because this is not only wrong, it's twisted, guys, and most people just need to know more about the story. But as Eric said here, it was a good run. I stood up for what I felt was right. I feel defeated, but also relieved that this fight is over. Goodbye, and thank you all for supporting me over the last 7 years. I may fire up a Twitch stream to play other games occasionally, but I am deleting Clash of Clans. And I mean, could you really blame them? This blatant misuse of YouTube's policies is not legally allowed. You cannot just copyright strike or censor people's content simply because you don't like what they have to say. Again, I don't play Clash of Clans, but now I would never even consider playing this even if I wanted to, because this seems to be a company, at least on the way Eric's claiming it to be, that just confirms that they are 100% behind censorship of anyone who disobeys them in any way. As this one user said in Eric's comments, one of the few people in the Clash of Clans community who had a spine and is ready to stand for what's right. That's why they took you out. Respect to you for being what you are. I will always be inspired by your integrity. Like, this is crazy, guys. How is Supercell just allowed to go about and do this, especially considering that the footage of a video game, it is fair use, 100%, no matter how Supercell tries to justify this. This is the same company that has been accused already of prioritizing their profits over the fun of their own games. They had like recent updates where Supercell apparently nerfed the free progression within their games while still pushing expensive purchases either way. And then despite generating millions of dollars in revenue all the time, stuff like their elite wildcards were also removed from their pass paths in their games too. Instead, they opted to make these items now only obtainable but with ridiculously low drop rates, so something like 0.5% at times. So this is a company that seems to only care about profits and nothing else, and it's really gross. It also reminds me of how back in 2024, the Old Gods of Asgard, that's a band that plays music and stars in Remedy's Alan Wake series, attempted to copyright my channel for exposing Remedy's practices as seen here. This was the video that got copyright striked by that band on my channel. As you can see here, the exact segment of that video that got copyright struck was when I spoke about how Remedy changed the race of the main character due to Sweet Baby Inc.'s involvement. Hilariously, the Old Gods of Asgard tried to act like they somehow owned the footage of Alan Wake 2 that I was using in my video, despite the video having zero audio from the game itself and the footage being screen recorded by myself from my copy of the game I bought and paid for myself too. I won that copyright dispute because obviously it was blatant censorship. It's also why I pretty much now refuse to play of any of Remedy's future games because of what they tried to do to me. Because they did try to silence me like they're doing right now with Eric, dude, and I will just never forgive them for doing that. So I fully understand what Eric is going through here because this is wrong. Supercell is not allowed to do this and they know that. Yet despite this, they're just doing it anyways, and YouTube is seemingly letting them do it. As one user said as seen here, they are disgusted by Supercell because they are censoring this content creator because he, criticized them despite Eric also being a key figure in that community that fostered and brought players together for over 7 years so far. And undoubtedly, thanks to Eric's efforts, Supercell likely made lots of money from their updates and more, from Eric showcasing their games and features for free. Like, they literally destroyed this man's livelihood because he, dared to question their design choices at time? Like, it's disgusting. Eric has even posted, as seen here in August 2025, to be involved in events like the Clash of Clans Championship games. Like, this just reeks of something behind the scenes to me. Obviously, I can't prove this right now, but if Eric maybe said something that angered someone higher up the chain at Supercell during one of these tournaments, it could very well be a solid reason why they went after him so badly just a few months later. Because you don't go from traveling halfway around the world for world championships as an esports commentator of all things, and you're a YouTuber who is solely dedicated to this one developer and all their games they make, to now having your entire channel nuked and then copyright struck like 11 times in a few months like this. Like, Eric would give a big update following this, but like, here's what he said, okay? Despite my efforts to combat the mass copyright strikes that Supercell placed on my channel channel, it seems YouTube's automated counter notification system, that's AI by the way, has rejected most of them and has left 3 strikes on my channel, which means the entire channel will be deleted in a few hours from now. As he says there near the end there, remember that above all else is our integrity. No one can take that away from us, and I can stand tall knowing I'm doing the right thing. Like, this just tells me that Eric was being silenced and destroyed for speaking out against Supercell and their practices, and that actual corporate censorship at work here, guys, is happening. Like, there's no way you can deny this. Even me making this video right now, I'm wondering if they're going to try to copyright strike me for speaking out against them despite me having no footage of their games. But sorry, Supercell, you know and I know that's not how this is going to work. You can't just silence people because you don't like what they're saying about you. The only reason you were doing this to Eric, and God knows who else, is because you don't want your actions scrutinized or exposed. And now that you did that, more people are going to figure out about it. And this now brings me to the next part of this video too, which is that this is how Eric has mobilized his efforts and is also working to launch a lawsuit against Supercell for unjustly targeting his channel for speaking out and criticizing their behaviors. Here's Eric's GoFundMe on screen here. As you can see, his goal is $4,500 for the start of his legal fees to now go against Supercell. He's almost there, but regardless, I will still post a link to his GoFundMe in the description box below if you want to donate yourself, or maybe just share his GoFundMe around the internet too to raise awareness. But here's what Eric had to say about his lawsuit that he is going to now file against Supercell. I'm Eric, and I've been creating content for the Clash of Clans community on YouTube for 7 years. My channel has been a place where players, creators, and fans come together to enjoy playing games and being the grassroots of esports. On November 18th and 19th, Supercell placed 11 copyright takedowns on my channel, which resulted in the 3 strikes required to permanently delete the entire channel. He continues, legal support for YouTube copyright issues can be costly, and I cannot handle these expenses on my own. This GoFundMe is intended solely to help cover the legal fees and administrative costs required at any legal proceeding that may follow in response to this action from Supercell, and cover any additional costs incurred resulting from this potential legal battle. Any support, no matter how small, helps me immensely. Even small numbers can add up to make a big difference. And then at the bottom there, Eric confirms that if no legal proceedings end up going through, he will refund all the money that has been given to him. And Eric even proves that these content takedowns are not being issued by some random group or anything, but it is undoubtedly Supercell themselves. As he proves it here in his own GoFundMe page, you can see clear as day that every strike was issued by Supercell and Supercell alone. And man, they're not even just copyright striking, dude. Now that I'm looking at it, they're asking YouTube to straight up remove the videos from the platform. Like, you see what I mean? This cannot stand. If I was Eric, even if they do end up reinstating his channel, he should still take legal action because it can't be allowed. The power being used here is just not fair. Imagine what other companies could then get away with as well. Think of like BioWare could remove my channel for speaking on their games, or Bungie, or Activision with Call of Duty, or EA with Battlefield. It's just wrong. You are always entitled to your opinion no matter what it is, and your opinion cannot be removed because someone at these companies thinks that your opinions are going to hurt their sales. Like, I have videos on YouTube of people hating on me. Like, I'm not going to get them issued or taken down or copyrighted. I don't care. It's their opinion. It's fine. Like, that's how the internet works. And this is why I hope people like Asmongold and more, they get a hold of this story too. Maybe post it to his Reddit or something, because more people just need to hear about this dude. Remember, this also comes in the wake of how YouTube lately has also been mass flagging and deleting channels aplenty too. You've probably seen it all over social media. From what I can tell online, at least, like thousands of channels have already been deleted by YouTube through the use of their AI checking if channels broke any rules or not. And by the way, that same AI is what affected Eric's channel too. Like, this is destroying livelihoods. Who knows? Maybe Supercell will try to pivot if the backlash gets bad enough, and they might say, actually, oh, these claims were wrongfully placed by YouTube's AI or something to save face, right? But my question to all of that is, why is AI deciding the fate of human-made channels in the first place? Like, Eric is a real human being who who obviously has responsibilities. If it's not a human that did it, but it is AI, that makes the argument that AI moderation is now even more flawed than we originally intended it to be. Like, people's lives shouldn't be dictated by some computer. I don't think that's controversial to say because I think it's insane. And the fact that Eric claimed when he did issue copyright pushback claims that they were rejected almost immediately. Listen, I've been doing YouTube for like what now? 3-4 years almost 4 years. And that just tells me from experience that all of those appeals that got rejected, guys, that was not done by human hands, okay? There's no way some human being out there could review 11 videos that are like 20 to 30 minutes long each. And within like 5 minutes, go through all of those videos and the claims and go, yup, these seem like they broke the rules. There's no way. It would take literal hours to do it. And AI did this 100%. Like, is YouTube just asleep at the wheel with things like this? Like, they have to be fixed. As also seen here from ppc.land. Like, if it's not companies issuing malicious takedowns, it's just YouTube in general just being weird. This article is referencing a guy named Mario Jews, and this will tie back to Eric, I promise, but to save us all the time, Mario is someone who works with YouTube creators of all sizes, and he's worked with people like Mr. Beast as well. But Mario is an expert in figuring out algorithms and understanding how and what makes a channel grow healthy and fast. Anyways, Mario's been noticing something happening on YouTube he calls the Great Flattening. Basically, views for channels and interaction in general pretty much across the board regardless of your niche, everybody's being heavily impacted on YouTube right now. They're having their views plummet and their reach get suppressed without any reason. Doesn't matter what size of a channel you are, it's happening to everyone. I've spoken to Mario about this myself in DMs. I even sent him my own data so that he could use it when comparing it to other channels so that he could maybe figure out what's going on. From what Mario told me himself, he thinks that YouTube's algorithm is fundamentally broken pretty much, and I've spoken to also various other YouTubers with channels either over 1 million subs at 700, 500, etc., all channels bigger than mine, okay? And all of them are telling me the same thing. There's something weird going on. It's not just now. It's happened multiple times throughout the years, like throughout this year specifically, I mean. And frankly, the way I am seeing it, YouTube isn't capable of clearly handling all of these channels and their problems with the use of AI. It's not a one fix bandage all thing, because all it's doing is either ruining the algorithm clearly due to all the AI slop that's everywhere, they're age restricting content without telling people, putting viewers into restricted mode against their will unknowingly, or they're just allowing companies like this Supercell and God knows who else to just ruin the lives of YouTubers pretty much because they don't like what they said. Again, it's insane how not once in this video I can even show you a single clip of a game made by Supercell. Otherwise, they will likely try to remove this video, you know? Like, that's actually insane, and that shouldn't even be a thing. But that's where we're at right now. YouTube is just all over the place lately, and these malicious companies are taking advantage of it to push what they want. But it's really no wonder why Supercell wants to silence their loudest critics, because they're pulling in millions of dollars. As this user reported here with sales of Supercell's games, they're making over 100 million a month at least off their games alone. Here's another post confirming those numbers, by the way, so clearly Eric's channel was a sacrifice on the altar for Supercell in order to keep raking in millions of dollars. What's also equally insane is following Eric's channel being removed for criticizing Supercell, they also recently sent goodie bags full of Clash of Clans merchandise to various creators in the space too. Unfortunately, I also can't show you this clip because if I do, Supercell will copyright strike me either way, but they posted it on their official Clash of Clans Twitter page if you want to go check it out. But the comments, however, were pushing back, saying things like this. Let me correct that for you. To celebrate Town Hall 18, we sent copyright strikes to Eric OneHive, resulting in the deletion of his channel with almost 500,000 subs. Now it's your turn. And another person saying, did your copyright strike any of them after they opened the merch? Which I mean, technically they should be because they did it to Eric with other stuff that he's done too. And the rest of the comments are just people Zerg rushing and spamming TH18 so they can win a box set for themselves, I guess, too. And then besides that, the only other comments are just the very content creators in the promotional video hailing Supercell for the merchandise they sent their way. Like, this whole thing comes off as disgusting to me, and it just shows that Supercell has a toxic positivity problem. They only want positive content made on their games. They never want to be criticized or called out, and I guess they're totally fine with getting entire livelihoods erased for that. Of course, these Clash of Clans content creators will never speak out on this because to do so is digital poison for them, and they'll just lose access to to what gives them validity. But as you can probably tell from how I make my videos here, I don't really care about being in the good graces of some of these companies. I don't want them to send me anything if it means I have to be some weird yes man about it and I can't call out anything. And if Supercell is willing to conduct themselves like this, it just proves that they are clearly fostering a toxic community of false positives to mask their own problems. And that these content creators who have voices in these spaces not speaking out about it is demeaning and honestly pathetic. So please, if you've watched this video so far, share this video around the internet wherever you can, because not enough people, man, are talking about what's happening here. Supercell is silencing their biggest creators, and they're showering their community content creators in gifts as long as they spread positivity and never question anything they do. I don't know, if you ask me, that's pretty gross. It's sad to see, and YouTube also needs to reinstate Eric's channel because this is wrong. But I do hope that Eric's lawsuit happens, because either way, something like this cannot be allowed to happen in the future. Once this is allowed to happen, the floodgates are going to open and censorship will just reign supreme. So thank you for watching. Please, again, consider sharing Eric's GoFundMe as well. I just don't like seeing people getting silenced like this, man. But this is just a terrible situation. Shame on Supercell. Thank you. Subscribe, and oh yeah, Supercell, by the way, don't even try to copyright this video or I will have to respond. Thank you.